at this picture.
What is this, dude? Oh
my gosh. Yeah.
Hey, that looks better than what the freaking Black Jack looked like, though.
Yeah, it's better. This is audio for it's Jason Momoa on Steve, and it is the most cursed thing I've ever seen.
No. That's not the most cursed thing. I'm sorry, that looks even better. Like I saw somebody that created this their own version to the trailer, and they kept it as the block form, and it looked 1,000 times better, and they just made them look like the characters from the trailer. 1,000 times better. That's just honestly what they should have done.
I kind of love this image.
Isn't that like the sad thing though? Is that this movie is real, and these memes are better than what they're actually doing.
Well, okay, for one, so many movies are like trying to make realistic movies. Some things were never made to be realistic.
Okay, do you guys like how Jason Momoa's character is just referred to as actor on this?
Yeah, it's when does it actually release? What's the
official release?
What did that say? Did that say April 4th?
April 4th.
Oh gosh, dude.
We have to wait for 8 months for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means we're gonna get more trailers. We're gonna get the cope has been crazy. Like I've seen Minecraft YouTubers like legitimately defend the trailer. It's unreal.
I mean, what I will say is looking at the director's previous work.
Oh, yep, Nacho Libre.
Like things are starting to make a lot of sense here.
It's wild. And that's what's crazy is Nacho Libre. I'll defend that movie.
Yeah,
it's silly
because it's Nacho Libre. It actually has a story to it. It's not just, oh, we're trying to make something realistic, because I'm tired of it.
And the movie's gonna make like 800 million because everyone's gonna take their kids to it, and it's
obviously, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, this was a great movie," and it's not. It's just not.
I don't think it's gonna be that big. Like as far as
I hope not. I really hope not.
Well, I think
look at that sheep. The sheep image alone should stop people from seeing this movie.
It's sad when the llama out of the entire trailer is the best looking thing, and it's like it just looks so stupid.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
there's your llama.
Llama's horrendous.
It's the faces, in my opinion. If the faces just looked kind of like normal and
that's the thing. Like you look at the background, right? You look at it.
What is this?
No. Like you go back to the freaking llama. The houses in the background actually look like they came from Minecraft. Minecraft is supposed to be blocky. The grass, okay, that's a little understandable. I mean, it's still blocky, but that it just has the grass effect on the face of it. It's no different than them updating the water in the game. But why did they have to make it like realistic in the factor of the people? Like you could have done it like
this.
Mario a little bit in the sense of like you go to a different world and it has a different look. Now I get like there's not realistic factor like, oh, it's Chris Pratt in the real world. It was actually Mario and Luigi, but if you do that where you have them go into the different world, they turn into the block form. Don't just throw them in and be like, here's Jack Black, which is now stating like, oh, here's a Steve that looks like he's sat in this universe for hundreds of thousands of years, became fat and has a beard. Like, no, Steve is supposed to be like a generic blue-shirted dude. That's just it.
It should be fully animated. Yeah, like Mario.
Well, also, they literally just slapped a blue shirt. On
Jack Black. Yeah, it's so retarded.
Also, I don't even think Steve has like a ton of facial hair, really, right? Like,
no, Steve. Also, talk about race swapping in movies, like what they did to Little Mermaid. Steve isn't white, is he? Like, look at him.
No, he's a little bit dark.
I'd say he's
more
Mexican.
Like
the Hispanic
Yeah.
Colored.
So I guess it makes sense. Jack Black has played a Mexican before, to be fair.
What the? Okay, I need to stop looking at these pictures because it's just cursing. Okay.
They need to take a lesson from what made Sonic successful and Mario successful.
Mhm.
They need to Sonic this movie. Change that animation crap.
It's not going to happen, dude. It will not happen. The reason Sonic was bashed so bad is because of how horrendous he actually looked.
Yeah, this is like, I'd argue this is worse. This is so bad.
Yeah. I'd agree.
Is nightmare fuel. I'd rather let that Sonic do horrible things to me than the Minecraft animations in this. My goodness.
One sec. I gotta pull up the old Sonic picture. I gotta see this again.
It's one of the greatest fan reactions of all time. It also proved, it was such a phenomenon that it proved that you can, in fact, if you work hard enough, bully a studio into doing something.
Dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, it almost looks like a realistic anime chick face that was slapped on a Sonic.
Yeah, it was such a bad thing at the time. And now, that's like a hyper successful trilogy ever since they actually fixed it.
True.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the only movie keeping
Sony or whatever.
No. Why can't I think of his freaking name at the moment?
They have Keanu Reeves in the new one. He's playing
Jim
Shadow.
Carrey.
Yeah,
because Jim Carrey said he wanted to retire,
yeah.
but he wouldn't retire for Sonic. He'd just do those movies, and it's like, okay, fair.
I think is wild. I think he said that he wouldn't do movies unless he felt like the script was really worth coming back for. And apparently,
there's no chance Sonic.
Apparently, I mean, well, you see now in the new one, he's playing two characters. He's playing Dr. Robotnik's father, and he's playing Dr. Robotnik.
Nice.
So they just threw a bunch of gray hair all over him, and we're like, it's older.
Yep.
Because that's how makeup works.
Well, yeah, it is.
I will say, going back to that, to the Minecraft thing, is those the Martin Scorsese memes have been really good.
Oh yes, the absolute cinema.
Yeah,
honestly, I love that meme format. Just in itself, like just the picture of Martin Scorsese just hands up, absolute cinema.
He's like 80,
but it just feels like the Bugs Bunny of just holding his arms out. It's just too good.
Yeah. The communist Bugs Bunny. Yeah, it's Martin Scorsese's like 85. I wonder if like any of his employees like showed him the meme.
Oh, like, dude, he had to have seen it.
Yeah,
probably.
Because the whole reason that is a meme is he famously and rightfully so hates Marvel movies. So all of these memes of all of these random ass people
I don't
coming
blame
through
him on
portals.
That,
yeah, they're all just coming through the Doctor Strange portals, and then it just ends with him absolute cinema. Oh gosh, yeah, it's so bad. I saw one about Fast and Furious earlier. They were like, "Did someone say family?" Freaking portal opens.
Hey, here's the thing, though: if Vin Diesel showed up in Marvel, I'd have like more of an interest in it than She-Hulk at this point.
Well, Vin Diesel is in Marvel.
Not what I meant. Not what I meant. Jeez.
Yeah, we already have family already exists.
That is a voice change in the thing, and it's just I am Groot the whole time. Besides the one line.
They should make them fight. Dom Toretto v Groot.
I mean, dude's now in the Ark.
Yeah.
Game.
And with
how
bad it all is, it's sad to say, I wouldn't be that surprised if Fast and Furious crossed over. They're like, it's in sacred timeline, man.
I don't know if they'll do a crossover with the MCU. I could see a crossover with Transformers.
Sir, they were racing cars in space. At this point, they're gonna do it, and we know it.
Well, no, it doesn't make sense for the MCU. That's why I'm saying Transformers, because Transformers, like, they're already cars. So, like,
That would be so stupid. That would actually.
Well, we'd have to go see it though, because like
you'd be
it's the
watching Vin
crossover.
Diesel sitting in Bumblebee driving it around.
No,
like that would have to happen at that point.
Listen, Vin Diesel's not the kind of guy that'd be in Bumblebee. He'd be in Optimus Prime. They're both a leader, you know.
Okay, fair.
Just to add insult to injury too, they would add the new Linkin Park to it.
No.
You guys heard about that, right?
Yeah, I listened to the new song.
Yeah, I'm so sad. This is a hot take. This is a terrible idea. This is a really bad idea.
I think she sounds like fine, but it does feel a little weird having Linkin Park without all of Linkin Park. You know? Like
that's because Linkin Park was Linkin Park. It's over. Like
yeah,
I know it's sad, but it's just life.
And they could have made a new band.
True.
Like it's Mike Shinoda. He could just be like, okay, we get this chick, and it's a new project, but it's still mostly the same group of guys.
It's also tricky because, like, how are you going to do all the old songs for like?
They have been. They're already touring.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just.
I saw some footage the other day, and it was like it legitimately made me sad because it's like I know people. I've seen this one online a bunch too. That like technically Chester wasn't an original member of the band. But then again, Corey Taylor also wasn't an original member of Slipknot, but it's the catalog of music. Every single Linkin Park album, like all of that is what it is because of Chester. Same with Corey and Slipknot. So yeah, it's just
I mean it's like changing ACD to Jack Black.
Yeah, it's like you just make it a new project, and it's I don't know if you guys saw, it was like today or yesterday. Chester Bennington's son actually came out, and he's pretty pissed.
Oh yeah, I did see some videos about him kind of throwing.
Yeah, he released a whole statement on it. Yeah,
I didn't see that, but
yeah, he's not exactly thrilled, which makes sense because I mean, some might say it's low-key disrespecting a dead person by doing this.
Well, okay.
The catalog of
that's
work.
just Tolkien at this point. Like you were disrespecting the man with Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Okay, that is just straight up disrespect right there.
That's got to be our new social media campaign. Just be like, new Linkin Park equals Rings of Power. That's our new relation.
That's the headline.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bigoted podcasters say that the new chick on Linkin Park is bad.
Is just as bad as what Amazon is doing.
Oh
gosh.
Oh man.
But hey, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like sexist or anything to say that it should have just been a new band. Just make it a new band. It's fine.
I don't think anybody actually would have complained if they said it was a new band.
No.
Because people would probably actually enjoy seeing them come back and be like, okay, we get to hear your style again, just new.
Yeah, and Mike Shinoda's done that before. Like, Mike Shinoda just has his own Spotify stuff. You can go listen, because he's just a rapper. He can do. So they definitely could have done it. There's a lot of, like, theory that they put it under the Linkin Park banner again because that's immediate recognition, that's immediate ticket sales and all of that.
I mean, so that's like, for sure what it probably is about.
So that way they're just like, okay.
Especially because there are going to be those people. Like, I don't listen to a lot of Linkin Park, except for when I'm watching the Transformers movies and get that like inkling of being like, all right, let me revisit this for a little bit.
But I'll listen to them anyways. But,
oh yeah, they're still good. But every time I see Transformers, it just reminds me of Linkin Park, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go listen to them.
That's because I think it just paired too well. It's just Linkin Park is Transformers to an extent. That's just how it is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's just like a weird thing. Other bands have done it before, and I felt the same way then. Like 3 Days Grace, and then you have these tours and concerts where the new singer, who doesn't sound anything like the old singer, is like going through the entire catalog of what was already great beforehand.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. This one is just especially rough because Chester is such a legend. Like Soundgarden, they're not going to be out here replacing Chris. If they do, that'll break the world. But
I also
yeah.
think it's because of how different the new singer sounds. Because of like it's not about a gender thing, but just because, you know, men and women just sound different. Like with Dragon Force, like right, they change lead singers, but in my opinion, there's times where if you listen to them side by side, it doesn't even really sound like it sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I think obviously with Linkin Park, it's very different because obviously they sound very different.
So, another thing I wanted to go over. So, Spider-Man 4 is happening. Apparently, it starts filming early next year. And
I got a thing here. Let me see if I can find something on it.
I think it's wild that the worst Spider-Man, and that's like, that's not even like a hot opinion. If you go anywhere online,
Yeah, I
it's
think
pretty
everyone agrees with
consensus that Holland is the worst of the three, and he's getting a fourth movie. And they got the guy, his name's Daniel Cretton. He directed Shang-Chi. He's directing it now. And
Yep.
I didn't know this until recently, apparently, and I'm not surprised. Shang-Chi budget to what it made at the box office was actually a pretty big flop. It did pretty bad.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
So that's a whole lot of and the other thing too is they are keeping it in the movie is going to be about the multiverse again. So
yeah. So
here's
the only thing I like out of this is J.K. Simmons. That's it.
Yeah, but even then, like Marvel is not
if
learning
they bring
their
him
lesson.
back, that's the only thing that would be enjoyable out of the movie. That's it.
Yeah,
But they can't even do that now. They only got a one chance for that.
Well, so I'm looking at Daniel Cretton's movies here.
Yeah, I know Shang-Chi. I'm not sure what else his other stuff is, but
yeah, so he's got Shang-Chi, which is obviously 2021. He has an untitled Shang-Chi sequel. So
maybe if it doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, we'll see on that one. Apparently it's saying on Google. Now, obviously it's Google, so sometimes you can't trust what they've got here, but at least with upcoming movies. But they have Avengers 5, the Kong Dynasty. Whether that's accurate or not, I would assume probably not because of Jonathan Majors getting fired.
Yeah, it's Dr. Doom, remember? Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey.
And they brought back the Russo brothers. So the Russo brothers are doing Avengers 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And it's it's Robert Downey Jr. I Hate You 3000 is
Okay, he also did
Those memes are
this
great,
movie called Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan and why am I blanking? It was Jamie Foxx, yeah.
Okay.
And Brie Larson actually as well. So looks like
yay.
It's got a decent cast. Rotten Tomatoes score got 85 from critics and 99 from audience. So I don't know. I think the biggest problem with this is honestly going to be the thing that everyone else has been talking about, the Marvel fatigue, the superhero fatigue.
Yeah, and it's
so
I've heard people say that it's at this point it's almost more of a specifically multiverse fatigue than it is a just superhero fatigue. I mean, Batman made like $800 million.
yeah.
Yeah, but that was a standalone movie. That's the point.
And it wasn't
people
retarded.
just want standalone movies. That I would love them. I don't. The Spider-Man is like don't get me wrong. There's a lot of multiverse with Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man has only been multiverse. That's it.
Yeah,
It's been how many characters can we shove into Spider-Man instead of just making it a Spider-Man movie? It's why Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Mans are just 1,000 times better.
Yep, it's actual just Spider-Man movies. And they set up the end of No Way Home for a like super street level normal Spider-Man movie. Nobody remembers him. He has the light blue suit, the light blue and light red suit. He's got the little apartment and all that. And yet they're still going to do it because Marvel is really good at seeing fan reaction and seeing box office numbers and learning their lesson. So they're really good at that clearly.
Yeah.
They're gonna multiverse it. There's gonna be the fat Ned kid. Doctor Strange will probably show up. Scarlet Witch will probably show up.
I don't think they'll bring Scarlet Witch.
The only thing I'm banking on is if the rumors of Sydney Sweeney being in it are true. So, I mean, I guess there's that.
For eye candy, right?
That's Black Cat. Like the
Spider-Man. I did hear rumors about that.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, it's gonna be
not just another tease like Madam Web, where they told us that we'd see Sydney Sweeney in the in her Spider-Man costume.
It was
at least we might get a second Madam Web just because we memed them so hard.
Yeah, we need to bully Sony into making Morbius 2 and Madam Web 2.
I don't think they would do Morbius just off of the fact that we already screwed them over with releasing Morbius the second time.
And we were all just busy that day. Everyone was just busy that day. They chose a really bad day to do it.
That was one of the best troll campaigns in
recent it honestly was. There are a few times that we have come together to make things actually worth it. Sonic, Morbius.
Now we just gotta freaking do it to Minecraft. Oh my gosh.
We do.
And the thing is like, why does everything have to be like IP destruction? When was the last time we went to a movie that was just like a story that a director and writers made?
The last movie we saw that was just
it's all remakes, sequels, or destroying a video game like Borderlands or.
Let's see. Let me look at the last couple movies.
What is the list of movies this year?
I mean, we still really, and we can get into that. Biopics. I used to not be.
Okay, actually, Long Legs.
Okay, true.
I will actually agree on that one. Long Legs was a fantastic movie. It may have been extremely disturbing.
Horror is one of those genres that not only is an infinite money glitch for.
I forgot that Imaginary came out this year too.
Yeah,
there's also Bike Riders.
Bike Riders. I guess actually that's fair. Yeah, Bike Riders.
And Horizon was actually after that. Yeah. June 20th.
We should do because that is on streaming now, so everybody watch it. But yeah, we need more Horizon. People actually just having an idea and making it happen instead of just copy and pasting. And
Did you see Wonka with your family, Keaton?
Sequels. I didn't see Wonka? No.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think that was probably Josh that went and saw that. I'm just looking at our last movie, like at the movies on our list. But
we do try to see almost everything. It gets harder and harder the worse and worse stuff is.
This is true.
Yeah. I mean, there was also like Oppenheimer and Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah, Ministry. I've heard that and I need to buy it, but apparently
The Beekeeper.
Okay,
We did have that back in
right.
January, but I don't know if you count that as an original because I mean it's just Jason Statham and it's just him every time.
I think we were trying to say good movies. I didn't specify.
We were trying to talk about movies that were good originals because there were movies that were original, but still doesn't mean they were good.
I've heard that for Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, that the book is actually really good and explains a lot more stuff because it is a true story. And I thought it was like, I thought it was the movie was wild. Apparently, the real story in the book is more wild, which is hard to think about. But that's also the case with Revenant. Like what the dude actually went through was worse than what they had DiCaprio do. Every now and again, there's actually interesting stuff like that. So I got to get the book and actually see what happened because cool stuff. Guy Ritchie's a great director.
Yeah, and then technically speaking, it wasn't this year; it was end of last year. But we did also have Iron Claw, which I rewatched recently.
Yeah, as far as post-COVID, like 2020, I think the first movie to actually be in theaters again was Tenet.
Yeah,
I think Iron Claw. So we're what 4 years post all of that. It's
Tenet was 2020.
Yeah, Iron Claw is probably one of the best movies since the turn of the decade.
I could probably agree with that.
Yeah, it's so good, and I don't even particularly like A24 as far as the studio goes. I think that's their best movie overall. With some that you could argue like Lighthouse and stuff like that, but I just think they're like A24 to me is like the super edgy LA kids that are like, this is how I'm gonna get an agent, and they just are super into indie stuff no one's heard of. That's what A24 is.
They've been doing a lot of things recently. I swear every time we go to the movies, there's always a new movie that's coming out, a new trailer, and every single time it says A24 on it. So
yeah, and that's that. Every movie's A24 now. It's just all A24.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just looking at kind of the catalog of things that they were involved with. Like, there's so many of them that are it's just random ones I never even saw or even heard about because they were just a lot smaller. Or they're horrors. It seems like they do a lot of horrors as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of their starts, is they kind of started doing that.
Yeah,
which because horrors are an infinite money glitch. They almost can never not make money because they're super low budget and there's enough of a dedicated horror fan base that you will make money every time.
Yeah, so just looking at the things that they've come out with recently, like Civil War was this year. That was A24.
They've got a bunch next year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some studios are just like that though. They just pick up a lot of the weird movies.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is I think they're actually getting a lot of like they're getting some bangers out, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I know that one was a big one. I know a lot of people like that one.
I forgot that was A24.
Yeah. Obviously they've been doing a lot of horrors which do good and everything like that. And so I think what it is they're able to get involved in a lot more things because they just have a lot more.
Now it's just a waiting game for when Disney buys them.
It's always a waiting game for when Disney buys something.
And then I don't know, that actually
they probably own freaking Stan Lee's grave, dude.
Probably. I mean, they already own George Lucas's, and he's not even dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like and South Park predicted this in 2015. Do you know the whole Memba Berry thing? where
Yes.
it's all these little blueberries. Well, it was when the Force Awakens came out. They introduced this character called the Memba Berries, and they're these little blueberries that talk. And they're like, "Oh, I remember Star Wars. Oh, I remember." That is, it's 9 years since that bit, and it's like more relevant than ever. Everything is a Memba Berry. Remember Michael Keaton? Oh yeah, I remember. Remember Gladiator? Oh, I remember. It's so wild. Everything is a berry.
At this point, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why movies like Fall Guy do absolutely fantastic when Fall Guy should have been one of the weird movies because everybody else was creating, the new Marvel movies and stuff like that were supposed to be the top tier movies.
Well, Fall Guy was still a rehash of an old story.
I think it was inspired by a show.
Yeah, I think it was a show, is what it was.
Yeah, because there's a show about a stunt double, and it was called The Fall Guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's loosely inspired. It's like a
obviously it's
but
not.
There's a lot of
fantastic.
movies that have inspiration from others. And I think inspiration is slightly different than just remaking.
Yeah, I'd much rather.
Like, oh, now we got Snow White as a non-animated movie. Like we don't need that. Nobody asked for that.
With 7
it's partly
non-dwarf.
animated. They CGI'd the dwarves.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because
they are CGIing them.
Why would Peter Dinklage ever want to be a part of that?
Yeah,
I don't blame him for not wanting to be a part of it.
Well, there's other dwarves outside of Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, I would try to be an actor.
I'm sorry. If you're gonna make a movie with a bunch of dwarfs, you're telling me you wouldn't go out and actually throw an offer out to him?
Oh, for sure.
You'd have to. You'd have to.
Well, what I find funny about it as well is the fact that, because I don't believe any of the dwarfs are even any big name actors or actresses. So I could understand if all 7 of them were these A-list actors.
That's because if I remember right,
I guess there's only
65,000 of them in the United States, and there's 330 million people, something like that. So it's I mean, if you're gonna be an actor and you're a dwarf, I mean, your odds aren't that bad, honestly. You could go for it, but Disney won't cast you anyways. We have learned.
Well, I just looked at the cast list. There is one of them that is an actual dwarf. I can't remember.
And they CGI'd him anyways.
I don't know if they CGI'd him, but you guys remember the shorter guy in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies?
Oh yeah,
he's playing Grumpy, apparently.
Okay, well, I guess there are different types of dwarfism is what they're calling it, and in some cases, the most prominent one, a lot of people are stating it's 1 in 20,000 babies, but that's just a bone disorder.
Yeah, I think the medical term is midgetism. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's midgetism. Yeah.
I think dwarfism would be the correct term in my book, but
oh yeah, we'll circle back on the midget thing.
Maybe we can get someone to fact check us or something it'd be our.
We'll get a live fact checker.
Once we get the budget for it, we'll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone who's tells us we can't say midget on the internet or something.
No, I'll gladly
we
say
don't want
midget.
to hire that guy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, there's this thing. It's called freedom of speech. Thank you.
It's just so funny that they're like, you know what? We'll just CGI them instead of just casting them, because why not?
Well, also,
I mean, you could have done what The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings did. They didn't even really get dwarfs for a lot of the scenes.
No, you just do the
Lord of the Rings. They
thing.
did a little bit for when they had to have a shorter person in the scene.
Right.
But they just threw a wig on them and stuff like that. And in some cases, they actually just made a puppet.
Yeah, you can do puppets. You can do
So a lot of the horse riding is just the larger actor riding with a puppet from a
You can
distance.
also do a lot just with camera angles. So it's all people at normal height, but the camera angle alone makes everyone look like they're
Yeah. So I mean,
hobbits or what? To show proportion. You know when they're up in the Misty Mountains and Frodo the ring comes off of his necklace and it's like up the hill in the snow. For scale, they literally made just a massive ring. So even to show like where Frodo was in relation, instead of just putting the camera really close to the ring in the snow, it's actually like a much bigger ring. I'll have to try and find it, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff they can do. It's just Disney. They don't care.
It's because CGI, really. Because so many people are just like, oh, we'll just CGI that and CGI this and do all that. And it's like, okay, the true CGI should be something like Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, dude shows up as Davy Jones with a giant thing of tentacles strapped to his face.
Yeah, it's what is that called? Motion capture, where they put all the they put him in the suit. Yeah, what they did with Andy Serkis, and you can make it look really good. That was At World's End was like 2009, and it's better than everything that comes out now.
I believe it was. I can double check.
And then we still have the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy.
What the heck?
I like to think that this is all gonna shift the other way at some point, just because it has before. Like there were eras.
It has to though.
It's,
either that or it's just an entire new era and it's just a new form of like something similar to CGI and stuff like that.
All right, so Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End was 2007.
Oh wow, okay, so even 2 years earlier.
And Deadman's Chest was 2006, which is the first appearance of Davy Jones.
Right. Yeah.
And those were beautiful movies.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah.
And even now, like you watch them now, and it's not like you watch Lord of the Rings now. There's some of the stuff like the ring wraiths and stuff. You forgive the CGI because you're like, all right, that's 2002. But that Pirates of the Caribbean, those are better than stuff now is. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy that there are those movies, and then like as far as like the CGI and like visual effects and everything, like going back to Transformers, I think the Transformers movies, like the earlier ones, still look really good for the time that they came out. And then you see things now. You get you get Thor: Love and Thunder with like the floating heads, and even a little bit here and there, and like Deadpool and Wolverine, which is Marvel's next big movie. Their big blockbuster coming out and everything.
And
do you remember
the CGI in that is fantastic.
Oh, the Doctor Strange eye.
The Doctor Strange head eye. Do you remember that?
Okay, that just looks like somebody took a pencil and just
that was MS
sketched
Paint.
it on.
Yeah, that actually looked like they just added it. Like
it was an intern. He wanted to contribute to the movie, so they let an intern do it.
Hey, he wanted that $50 paycheck. Okay.
Yeah. It's Disney. It's probably an unpaid internship.
True.
But, yeah.
As Deadpool and Wolverine stated, it's just an internship that's gonna last until he's 70.
Oh gosh, yeah. And the thing is that probably will be the case. They're gonna get him for Secret Wars. They're gonna get him for whatever else. Because remember, they're really good at making stuff.
Yeah. Really well, and unfortunately, because of the fact that it's Disneyland, Disney, they have Disneyland. They have all these things that just soak in money. They'll be able to offer whoever they want, however much they want, and
I think I saw somewhere.
I mean, you
that there
bring
was
back Robert Downey Jr. I think that was their best option that they thought of. When it's not the best option, it's called you just scrap what you're doing right now and just restart.
Yep.
Like, sure, DC has done it every single time because they just can't hold it to save their life. I still enjoy the movies because at least they're making it worth it to watch. It's not like, oh, look, we have to include every single multiverse character. No. They might add like an Aquaman cameo into the Batman movie for some reason. That's it. That's all they do.
Yeah. And I mean, the Flash Trident, we all saw how that went. So,
Yeah.
It's a bunch of creative bankruptcy, and the Robert Downey Jr. thing is an admission of failure. They could have put anybody in there. That could have been anyone.
Yeah. Well, going to the Robert Downey Jr. thing, do you guys think that is also a mix of Robert Downey Jr. not really getting cast in any other big roles?
No, it's a paycheck. It's fully a paycheck.
He's made plenty.
He literally
just being Iron Man.
Yeah, he literally just barely won the Oscar for Oppenheimer.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot that he was in Oppenheimer. So yeah, he's got stuff.
Yeah, and he won an Oscar for supporting actor.
Yeah. So yeah,
and that was a great movie.
Yeah, so he could do anything. I think I'd have to check on this. I've heard that Guy Ritchie wants to do a third Sherlock Holmes, so that might be in the cards at some point.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about that. Honestly, I'm as much as I love Guy Ritchie movies, I'm at the point now. I say we just leave it be.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna keep making movies. It doesn't have to be part of a series. He's one of the only like actually good filmmakers that I look forward to seeing. There's like 3: Nolan, Scorsese, Guy Ritchie. So I mean, it's even if he doesn't do it, that's fine. He's got other stuff coming down the pike that's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at Robert Downey Jr. here because he had Doolittle in 2020, and then Oppenheimer in 2023.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Doolittle?
Yeah, Doolittle. Yeah, not Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I had a feeling. And then there is a Sherlock Holmes 3 like card here under the movies that he's in.
Yeah.
No release date, no exact like information, but
yeah, out of like all of the past claim, but notice how after the end of 2021, everything that was announced because of how well that movie did is a sequel of something really old or a remake. Because they're like, hey, we brought Toby back.
COVID also kind of screwed it over a little bit because there was probably a lot of movies that were actually being made that had a good story, had good actors in it, stuff like that. But so many actors are stingy and everything like that. So the movie ended up just being scrapped. And ever since then, it was just like, well, the only thing we can do is just make remakes. And that was it.
Yeah, and plus there's also been writer strikes and stuff, which it's not like they're necessarily the cream of the crop writers, obviously. That's why we keep on getting remakes and sequels. But in the mix of all of that, there's been one other thing that has come out and have been pretty successful, and that's biopics. Which when I was a kid, I did not care for them at all. And now it's like probably the last like really good genre as far as modern Hollywood. Like heck, Oppenheimer, Darkest Hour, which I think that was pre-COVID, but Iron Claw is technically a biopic.
Yep.
And then we just barely saw Reagan. And it's like those have all been consistently decent at the very least. There's some of them I didn't see. Like I never saw the Amy Winehouse one. so I can't speak for that one. But there's
Never watched that.
Or the again, I can't even remember the name of that movie, but yeah, they did do an Amy Winehouse one earlier this year. But yeah, Reagan. So I've been looking at a bunch of stuff. It is pretty predictable in what people have been saying. A lot of folks who didn't like Reagan or what his policies obviously hated the movie.
Yeah.
And vice versa. There's a lot of folks who were young, like a lot of Gen Xers, from what I've seen, have really liked Reagan. Really liked the movie. I don't know if you guys watch Film Threat, but Chris Gore from Film Threat said something pretty a good observation on Reagan, and he said, if we lived in a normal world, like where we didn't have the Hollywood that we have now, Dennis Quaid would be nominated for an Oscar. Which is probably true.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
He did really good. And it's not like the movie was anything super unique. And I think that's one of the actually good things about it. It was just a top to bottom story.
Well, it wasn't even trying to push any political agendas, anything like that. It really was just, here's the story about Reagan.
Yep. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had to, obviously, a lot of stuff that they didn't put in there because they did his whole life and you have a time frame. So, yeah, I don't, as far as that setup goes, I mean, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was good. I did like the fact as well that, yeah, it didn't feel like it was just like, let's sit here and bash on any like certain demographics other than like communism, right? Like it seriously was just about Reagan's life and just how, and showing that he was just anti-communism, right? Like that's just kind of where he built a lot of his policies and everything, and like why he wanted to run. So I think for that factor, I think that alone makes it an interesting watch.
Which, if you ever go down the rabbit hole of people like McCarthy and the Red Scare and stuff, he actually was right. There actually were a lot of communists in both Hollywood and actually within the government. It's some deep cut history that they definitely.
Well, it's because communism can't succeed by itself. It needs others. It feeds off of other government systems, off of other people. It's the only way it actually thrives.
I mean, hell, Oppenheimer, he was literally a communist, and he should technically have never gotten security clearance for the place in New Mexico. I forget what they called it. It was like what did they call the little town that they made? Los Alamos.
Yeah, Los Alamos.
Yeah. He wasn't supposed to get clearance, technically speaking. That's why it was such a big deal at the time, is because he was quite literally a communist.
Yeah.
And it's one of those cool little nuggets about the whole thing. So yeah, Reagan did a really good job at setting that up. It was kind of weird, and they probably didn't have to do this, but having the whole movie narrated by a Russian spy. So that was also an interesting
thing. But that was a fun little thing to do, though.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Bike Riders. How it was Jodie Comer. Yeah, she like the whole movie was told through her getting interviewed.
I actually think,
and that was a great movie.
I actually think that was probably one of my favorite parts about that, is actually the fact that it was narrated from the outside perspective.
Yeah,
it's kind of provide a little bit of mystery to the gang, provide a little mystery to like some of the characters, right? Like we don't fully understand Austin Butler's character until closer to the end, when he kind of like finally breaks and everything.
Yeah, it is a cool way of storytelling. And like you remember Goodfellas. The only difference is it was actually Henry himself narrating. So he was narrating kind of his own gig, but very similar as far as how it was set up and how it was told. And it worked out. I know that movie actually wasn't that well received. I liked it, but good for bike riders. And we need more stuff like that because I am sick of this remakes and prequels. And we have a live action remake of a prequel for Lion King that comes out in like November, December.
Yep.
Yeah, we have Mufasa. We're also getting Moana 2 and a live action Moana. So I don't understand that one. Why do we need a live action of the first movie already when they're making the second movie?
Yeah, it's because remember they're really creative and have original ideas.
Berries.
Yeah. Remember, Brian, Hollywood's really good at what they do.
Yeah, it's just for me, it just gives me the vibe that Disney's running out of rehashing their old stories, so now they're getting really close to their current stuff.
Yeah. It's I remember when I was a teenager, I would read a book or play a video game, and I would get really excited about the idea of somebody adapting it into a movie or a show, just because I liked the idea and the premise of it. I am now at a point where if I read a really good book, whether I like check something out from the library or an audiobook or something, or I play a pretty cool video game, I cross my fingers and pray that Hollywood, like I don't want the adaptations anymore. Like there's a lot of there's like a dystopian
you could say that
trilogy.
about the Minecraft movie.
Exactly, yeah. Like
so many people love Minecraft, but here we are.
It's a sandbox game. There's not even a story.
Well, I see a lot of people say that about Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, because obviously I know that's a very popular game, very popular story. So many people are like, it'd be so cool if we could get this, into a movie or a show. I'm like, why would you even bother? Just play the game, because they really will not do it right at all.
Yep, I like Red Dead is a perfect example. Like I have remember dystopian movies? Remember when that was a trend for like 2 years?
Yep.
Hunger Games, The Giver, Maze Runner, all that. Yeah. It was like a trend for a whole 2 years, but then it got completely out saturated because it was trying to come out the same time Marvel was in its prime.
Mm-hmm.
I have a trilogy. It's my favorite. I've read them all of dystopian genre books, and I used to think, oh my gosh, if somebody made this movies, that would be wild. And now I'm like, no, I never. Please, I hope nobody finds this because.
In all fairness, I think that was happening even long before now. I mean, looking at like the Maze Runner series, I think it's been a while since I've even seen and read them actually, but if I remember correctly, I think the first movie followed at least fairly close to the book. And then as we got closer to the second and the third, it kind of just crumbled.
And Hunger Games did okay. I didn't care for the new one. And again, I never read the book that one was based off of. I only read the original books.
The original 3. Yeah. Well, and then you also get the ones where they try to keep it accurate, but then change slight things. Like we had the Percy Jackson. Like it's kind of sad that I'd actually rather watch the Percy Jackson movies than watch the TV show from what I've seen of it. Yeah. Those are not good movies, but they at least came out at a point in my childhood where they kind of have like this weird special place in my heart where I'm like, I'd still watch them, but I can admit that these are gross and disgustingly horrible.
Yep.
But
there's a lot of movies like that.
Yeah, we all love the first Transformers, but I will never die on the hill that is cinema and that it's great writing and that it's really not.
It's peak cinema.
That's because
yeah.
you're a
To reference
14-year-old
Mark.
boy watching as Megan Fox walks onto the screen. Okay, there's a reason that you absolutely enjoy the movie. Okay.
Yep, and all while your childhood hero from Holes and Even Stevens, Shia LaBeouf, is now on the big screen as the lead in a movie, while Linkin Park is in the background. It's like a perfect storm of stuff happening.
Yes,
Don't get me wrong.
There's a
Megan
reason
Fox,
why everybody absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's those three reasons in tandem.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is always at the end when Optimus Prime does his monologue to the Linkin Park. That's where I'm like, I'm ready to go fight space robots. I don't even care. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, but I think that was their one chance to be like, okay, this is where we have to set this like point where this is great writing, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, you're taking Transformers, a bunch of robots from another planet that come over to Earth that are trying to take it as a form of resource, and it's like, here's your hero. And they had to lay it out that way because they needed to make it so that they could set up for the other movies, and that's their way of setting it up, is like, here's your hero.
There goes my hero. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we can't do that one anymore.
True.
Have you seen those memes? For context, we have 0 listeners and will have 0 listeners. But for context, Dave Grohl just got outed because he cheated on his wife and had a kid.
Oh
with,
I did see that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of breaking news, but yeah, that has been all
really,
the memes.
though, like
people are like, well, because his whole image was like he's the wholesome uncle or wholesome dad of rock.
Hey, but that's just adding another one to the pot. Like at this point, who hasn't been added to it? I mean, you have Dr. Disrespect. You have how many streamers that are now being added as like
every Minecraft YouTuber.
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole meme of like, oh, you hit 1 million subscribers and you're a Minecraft YouTuber. Where are you supposed to go now? Ooh,
children,
little kids. Like, dude.
As dark as it sounds, but I guess it's an acquired taste.
It shouldn't be an acquired taste.
No,
that's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think Keita was saying it should be.
No, it's just that's what has happened,
and yet somehow we put that as a leader of our country. Like,
yeah, unless you're Sketch and your acquired taste is just black cock.
See, but funny enough, as soon as that happened, a lot of people left him.
Yeah, not enough. He's still freaking huge.
Like downhill a little bit. I stopped seeing a lot of videos of him.
Right.
Because there's a lot of clips and snippets that got placed between him, Queso, and Jinxie. And I think after the fact, I think they had a hard time doing stuff together because, I mean, how do you go about interacting with somebody like that at that point?
Yeah, I mean, they probably still will. I don't know. I don't follow all 3 of them that close. I've seen some Queso stuff, but
yeah, I only see Queso stuff now. I haven't seen anything for Sketch.
And then we had Mr. Beast into it.
Yep, Mr. Beast. Yep.
Yeah, I've been seeing.
And it's like the only one that I've seen that has successfully lasted, like as a YouTuber in his career, is Markiplier.
Yeah, has he even? I don't really follow him often. Is he still posting consistently?
If I remember, like him and Ethan kind of were like, "Hey, we're gonna dub it down a little bit," but I don't know if that was true or not. I didn't follow him a lot. I mean,
I thought you were gonna say PewDiePie there for a second.
I mean, PewDiePie's still going. I mean, PewDiePie's still going.
Well, he's still going, and he got subscribers and never became a pedophile.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he has his own kid now. Like he's just he's
just
living
a normal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't watch much of PewDiePie.
Well, at least he just maybe it's just a current thing. I don't know, but yeah. So Dave Grohl, that happened, and the memes have already been pretty good. Like, even though it's only been a day, I saw one just before we started today. Said, looks like he had as another my hero, and it's all the Foo Fighters memes. It's been pretty good.
Do you think this is karma?
For what?
You know what?
For the Nirvana thing?
No, for the whole like Trump campaign thing, because they use the whole Foo Fighter song.
Yeah, and they
they're
tried to sue him.
Yeah, and then now it's just the backlash is that it came out that he's cheating on his wife.
Yeah. Well, what was funny about that is for the Phoenix rally, the Trump staffers actually did get legal permission, and the band didn't even know. They
because they just went to the studio.
Yeah, they went to the record label, and so they actually did have permission the whole time. But yeah, they immediately went on this press tour saying, we're giving all of the royalties of the song to the Kamala campaign, yada yada. And then maybe you're right. Maybe it is karma. Maybe that's the whole bit.
All right. Well, hopefully Taylor Swift gets her karma soon too.
Oh my gosh,
dude, she's deserved it for years.
Dude, I like how they think that's gonna help. Like we don't have to get into the politics, but it's if people
my thing
make
is
a voting decision based on
we go to watch a band and it's like, oh look, we paid $100 to go watch this band in person, and we're not that far from the stage, anything like that. But who wants to go pay like 10 grand just to go watch Taylor Swift sing her same old songs?
Yeah, well, a lot of people actually.
Yep.
Apparently, hundreds of thousands of people do.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
I actually just find it kind of depressing. Like, people shouldn't be basing anything really based off of somebody else's thought process of it, right? Like, make your own decision on it. Obviously, you can use other people to determine like certain things. I think like that's the whole reason we're making this, right? So that way people can listen to our reviews and of movies and stuff like that and determine if they want to see it based off of that. But
exactly,
it's just funny.
And so we're just about at the hour mark here. But one thing I wanted to bring up is we're gonna have and I'll actually get a visual of this up on the various channels and such, so that and it's gonna get continually updated as time goes on. But I like tier lists way more than I like hard rankings. And so what it's going to be a standard thing, S for Supreme, then A, B, C, D, F. So today we talked about Reagan. Where should we put Reagan?
Personally, I think it could go in A.
I was thinking A or B. So
yeah.
We'll have Soupy tie break.
With the ranking system, is there a tier list within the specific tier list? So like if I was to say like it was a low ranking A, is there a possibility of putting it as like a low ranking A? Because I either see it as a high ranking B or a low ranking A.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. I guess we can just go A then. Let's put it in.
I say we put
like, I'd probably say if we had to put it somewhere, I'd put it as an A.
Yeah, I think
only reason being is it wasn't trying to push any political agenda. It was just a story of here's Reagan.
We can also kind of another lens to view it through is we can have like S be 9 or 10 out of 10 territory, A be kind of 7, 8 territory, and so on and so forth. And so I think that's fair for Reagan. Reagan's probably in that 7, 8 ballpark.
Yeah, I think that's very
I could agree on that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll get that made, and that's going to be something that we're doing. We got other plans in the books, but yeah. Unless you guys got anything else, I think we can probably wrap it up there, and I'll get working on editing and such.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Are we gonna? Because you can cut things out and everything like that, right?
Cool. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we're good.
All right. I'll post this, and we will see y'all next time.